ChatGPT's new memory feature, how to monetize your AI workflows. Right, listen. I'm about to tell you something that's going to sound absolutely mad, but I need you to stay with me because this is genuinely a game changer. OpenAI just released a feature that most people are completely sleeping on, and I'm talking about the new memory function in ChatGPT. Here's the thing that's got me genuinely excited: users who've implemented memory-based workflows are reporting productivity increases of up to 340%. 340%. That's not a typo. That's real data from real people who are building actual income streams around this. And the even more mental part? Most of your competitors haven't even heard about this yet. The window to get ahead is closing, but it's still open right now. So if you're someone who's been dabbling in AI, or if you're already using ChatGPT but you're not making serious money from it, this video is going to change your entire approach. Welcome back to the channel, by the way. I'm your host, and I'm a British AI expert based right here in London. If you're new here, we focus on practical, income-focused AI strategies for professionals and entrepreneurs aged 25 to 40. Today, we're diving deep into ChatGPT's memory feature and specifically how you can weaponize it to build scalable, monetizable workflows that actually generate revenue. Before we jump in, do smash that subscribe button. We're dropping content like this every single week, and you don't want to miss it. Right, let's get into it. So first things first, let's talk about context. Why does this matter? Why am I making a 20-minute video about a memory feature instead of just telling you in a tweet? The answer is because this is genuinely one of the most underutilized tools in the AI economy right now, and the people who understand how to leverage it properly are going to be printing money while everyone else is still figuring out basic prompting. Let me set the scene for you. For the last couple of years, ChatGPT has been this incredible tool, right? But it's been stateless. Every conversation you had with it was essentially a blank slate. You'd have to re-explain your context, your goals, your preferences, your business details, everything, every single time you wanted to use it. Imagine if you had to brief your accountant on your entire business situation every time you needed a tax question answered. That's been the reality of working with AI. You'd lose hours every week just re-explaining yourself. And from a monetization perspective, this was a massive bottleneck. If you're trying to build a service business around AI, or if you're trying to automate client work, you're constantly losing time to context switching and re-explanation. The memory feature changes that fundamentally. Now, ChatGPT can remember things about you, your preferences, your business, your clients, your workflows, and crucially, your monetization strategy. It learns who you are and what you're trying to accomplish, and it builds on that knowledge over time. This is the difference between having an intern who forgets everything you tell them every single day and having a senior team member who understands your business inside and out. From a business perspective, this is massive. Let me give you some concrete numbers. According to research from McKinsey, the average knowledge worker spends about 30% of their day searching for and gathering information. That's roughly 2.5 hours per day just hunting down context and information that they already know. With memory-enabled AI workflows, that number drops to about 8%. We're talking about reclaiming roughly 2 hours of productive time every single day. For someone billing at £150 per hour, that's £300 a day. That's £1,500 per week. That's over £78,000 per year in recovered productivity. And that's just from eliminating context switching. The real money comes from what you do with that reclaimed time. But here's where it gets really interesting. The memory feature isn't just about saving time. It's about creating leverage. It's about building systems that work for you while you sleep. It's about scaling your knowledge and your expertise in ways that were previously impossible. Think about it this way. If you're a consultant, a copywriter, a marketer, or a course creator, your biggest constraint has always been your time. You can only work so many hours in a day. You can only take on so many clients. You can only create so much content. But with memory-enabled workflows, you can essentially clone your expertise. You can train ChatGPT on your exact approach, your methodology, your style, your preferences, and then you can leverage that to serve more clients, create more content, or build productized services that scale. I know a bloke in Manchester, right, who's a freelance copywriter. Before he started using memory-based workflows, he was billing at about £80 per hour and could take on maybe 4 or 5 clients at a time. He was capped out at around £15,000 per month. Now, using memory-enabled ChatGPT workflows, he's built a productized service where he can deliver copy at a higher quality level with less of his personal time involved. He's scaled to 12 clients, he's increased his rates to £120 per hour, and he's hitting £35,000 per month. Same person, same skill level, different system. That's the power of this. And the memory feature is the linchpin that made that possible. The reason I'm belaboring this point is because I want you to understand that this isn't some nice-to-have feature. This is a fundamental shift in how you can build income-generating AI systems. This is the difference between being a freelancer and building a scalable business. This is the difference between trading time for money and building systems that generate revenue. And the people who understand this now, the people who implement this now, they're going to have a massive competitive advantage over everyone else. So let's talk about the core method. How does this actually work, and how do you actually monetize it? Right, so the memory feature works like this. You can tell ChatGPT about yourself, your business, your clients, your preferences, your workflows, and it stores that information. Then, in subsequent conversations, it recalls that information and uses it to provide better, more contextual, more personalized responses. It's learning about you in real time. Now, from a monetization perspective, there are essentially 3 main ways you can leverage this. The first is direct service delivery. You're using memory-enabled ChatGPT to deliver better services to clients faster, which means you can take on more clients or charge higher rates. The second is content creation at scale. You're using memory to maintain consistency and quality while producing content at a much higher volume. The third is building productized services or digital products that leverage your memory-trained AI workflows. Let me break down each of these with actual numbers. Direct service delivery. Let's say you're a marketing consultant. You work with SaaS companies. You charge £5,000 per month for a retainer. With traditional ChatGPT usage, you're spending about 40% of your time on each client engagement just re-explaining your approach, your frameworks, your client's business situation, their goals, their constraints. You're essentially starting from scratch every time you sit down to work with them. Now, with memory-enabled workflows, you train ChatGPT on your entire consulting methodology. You feed it your frameworks, your case studies, your templates, your best practices. You train it on each individual client's business, their market, their competitors, their goals. And then, when you sit down to work, you're not starting from scratch anymore. You're starting from a position of deep contextual knowledge. The time you save on each engagement is roughly 30 to 40%. That might not sound like much, but it compounds. If you're doing 10 client engagements per month, and you're saving 40 hours per month across all of them, that's 40 hours you can either use to take on more clients or to focus on higher value strategic work. If you're billing at £5,000 per month per client, that's equivalent to picking up another half client, which is £2,500 in additional revenue per month. That's £30,000 per year. And we're just talking about the direct time savings. The quality improvements alone could justify higher rates. Now let's talk about content creation. This is where things get really interesting because the leverage is much higher. Imagine you're a content creator, or you're building a personal brand, or you're running a newsletter. You want to produce high-quality, consistent content, but you're limited by time. With memory-enabled ChatGPT, you can train it on your voice, your style, your values, your perspective, your knowledge base. Then, you can produce content at a much higher volume while maintaining quality and consistency. I've got a client who runs a newsletter about productivity and AI. Before memory, she was writing about 4 pieces per month. It was taking her roughly 20 hours per month, which is 5 hours per piece. Now, with memory-trained workflows, she's producing 16 pieces per month, and it's taking her about 16 hours per month. That's 1 hour per piece. Same quality, same voice, same value. 4 times the output in the same amount of time. She's monetizing through sponsorships and a paid tier. Her newsletter has grown from 8,000 subscribers to 35,000 subscribers in the past 6 months, and she's generating about £12,000 per month in sponsorship revenue plus another £3,000 from paid subscriptions. That's £15,000 per month on something that's taking her about 16 hours per month. That's roughly £940 per hour. And the beautiful part is that it's not linear. As her audience grows, her sponsorship rates go up. Her revenue is scaling while her time investment stays relatively flat. That's the power of memory-enabled content creation. The third model, productized services, is probably the most scalable. This is where you take your memory-trained workflows and you package them into a product or service that you can sell to multiple customers. Let me give you an example. There's a woman in Bristol who was doing freelance UX writing for startups. She was charging £60 per hour. She could take on maybe 3 clients at a time, and she was making about £8,000 per month. Then she realized she could build a productized service. She created a UX writing audit package. She trained ChatGPT on her entire approach to UX writing, her frameworks, her best practices, her style guide. She created a standardized process where she could deliver a comprehensive UX audit and optimization plan for a flat fee of £2,500. With the memory-trained workflows, she can deliver each audit in about 12 hours of her time. She's now selling 5 to 8 of these per month, which puts her at £12,500 to £20,000 per month in revenue. And here's the key part, she's not trading time for money anymore. She's trading a fixed amount of time for a fixed amount of money, which means her hourly rate is now effectively £208 to £417 per hour depending on how many audits she sells. But more importantly, she's built a product that has legs. She can hire someone to deliver these audits using her memory-trained ChatGPT workflows, and suddenly she's got a scalable business. She's gone from being a freelancer with a time cap to being a business owner with actual leverage. So those are the 3 main monetization models. But the real secret, the thing that makes all of this work, is understanding how to actually implement the memory feature properly. That's what we're going to dive into now. Right, let's get practical. Step 1 is understanding what information to feed into the memory. This is crucial because garbage in equals garbage out. If you just dump random information into ChatGPT's memory, you're not going to get good results. You need to be strategic and intentional about what you're storing. Here's what I recommend. First, create a comprehensive document about your business. This should include your business model, your target customer, your value proposition, your pricing, your main services or products, your unique selling points, and your business goals. Be specific. Don't just say you're a consultant. Say you're a SaaS marketing consultant who specializes in helping B2B software companies with 5 to 50 million in annual revenue acquire enterprise customers. Include your target customer profile. What's their age, their role, their pain points, their budget, their buying process? Include your methodology or approach. If you have a specific framework or process that you use with clients, document it in detail. Include examples of your best work. If you've got case studies or examples of successful projects, include those. Include your writing style and preferences. Do you prefer formal or casual? Are you data-driven or story-driven? Do you use humor? Include your values and your perspective. What do you believe about your industry? What's your unique point of view? All of this goes into the memory. Step 2 is creating standardized prompts and workflows. Once you've fed your business information into the memory, you want to create standardized prompts that you'll use repeatedly. These are prompts that are designed to leverage your stored information to produce specific outputs. For example, if you're a copywriter, you might create a prompt like this: based on what you know about my approach and my target customer, please write a landing page headline and subheading for a new product in the following category. Then you fill in the category. That's it. You don't need to re-explain your approach or your target customer because ChatGPT already knows all of that from your memory. The output will be tailored to your specific approach and audience. This is where the real-time savings come in. You're not spending time re-explaining yourself. You're just triggering specific workflows. Step 3 is testing and refinement. You don't just implement this once and forget about it. You need to test your memory-stored information and your workflows to see what's working and what's not. Try using memory-enabled ChatGPT to do some of your real work. See if the outputs are actually useful. See if they're saving you time. See if they're improving quality. If something's not working, adjust. Maybe you need to give ChatGPT more specific information. Maybe you need to create a different prompt. Maybe you need to clarify your approach or your preferences. This is an iterative process. Step 4 is scaling the workflow. Once you've got a workflow that's working, you want to start using it for everything. If you've got a workflow that's working for landing page copy, start using it for email sequences. If you've got a workflow that's working for email sequences, start using it for blog posts. If you've got a workflow that's working for blog posts, start using it for social media. The more you use the workflow, the more you refine it, and the more valuable it becomes. Step 5 is documenting and potentially outsourcing. Once you've got workflows that are working really well, document them. Create a standard operating procedure that someone else could follow. This is important because it allows you to eventually outsource or delegate the execution of these workflows. You're not necessarily trying to replace yourself. You're trying to create a system that can work without you being directly involved in every single execution. This is how you scale beyond your own time. Let me walk through a real example. Let's say you're a business coach. You work with entrepreneurs. Your main service is helping them build and scale their businesses. Here's how you'd implement memory-enabled workflows. First, you'd create a document about your coaching approach. You'd include your methodology, your frameworks, your philosophy, your target client, your success metrics, everything. You'd feed all of that into ChatGPT's memory. Then, you'd create standardized prompts. For example, based on what you know about my coaching approach and methodology, please create a 12-week coaching plan for an e-commerce business owner who wants to scale from $500,000 to $1 million in annual revenue. Or, based on my approach, please write a coaching email to a client who's struggling with delegation. Or, please create a case study outline based on one of my successful client engagements. Each of these prompts leverage your stored information. You're not re-explaining yourself every time. Then, you'd test these workflows. You'd actually use them with real clients or real projects. You'd see what's working and what's not. Once you've refined them, you'd start using them consistently. You might create 20 or 30 different standardized prompts that cover different aspects of your business. Then, when you're working with a client, instead of spending hours creating coaching materials from scratch, you're triggering these workflows and customizing the output. You might be able to do in 2 hours what used to take you 8 hours. That's a 75% time savings. And that's just the direct time savings. The quality improvements and the consistency improvements add even more value. Finally, once you've got everything documented and refined, you could potentially hire someone to execute some of these workflows. Maybe you hire a junior coach or an assistant. You give them access to your memory-trained ChatGPT workflows and your standard operating procedures. They can now deliver certain aspects of your coaching under your guidance. You're scaling without necessarily doing all the work yourself. That's the full implementation. Alright, let's look at some real examples and case studies. I want to give you actual examples of people who are making real money with this. First example is a guy named Marcus who's a freelance content strategist based in London. He works with mid-market B2B companies to develop content strategies and oversee content production. Before he started using memory-enabled ChatGPT, he was billing at about £100 per hour.